So Senegalese captain Sadio Mane has tipped Ghana as one of the favorites to win the next AFCON title in Ivory Coast. Well, we're going to get into it, as well as Stephen Appiah, yes, former Black Stars captain, has been talking about the sacrifices he made when he was captain of the Black Stars, and also former Fulham player, that is John Pinto, has advised Ghana's Thomas Partey to think through his decision before deciding where he will move away from Arsenal. Well, we'll get into all that and more here on Sports Update Ghana. Before we get into it, please subscribe to the channel, like, share, and don't forget to leave a comment. As usual, the name is Joseph Adamafi. So let's get right into it. And Senegalese international, that is Sadio Mane, has tipped the Black Stars of Ghana as one of the favorites to win the next African Cup of Nations title, which will be hosted in Ivory Coast. Well, although the Black Stars has not been doing very well lately, Sadio Mane believes that Ghana has what it takes as the big countries on the African continent to win the next AFCON title, which will be hosted in Ivory Coast. Well, speaking in an interview recently, this was what Sadio Mane had to say. Well, the Bayern Munich striker said the AFCON is full of surprises, but we know the usual best teams like the hosts, Ivory Coast, Nigeria, Egypt, Morocco, Ghana, Algeria, and Cameroon, he said in an interview as quoted by US Cameroonese. And that is what Sadio Mane said in relation to the fact that he believes that the Black Stars can win the AFCON title in 2024. Now, the irony here is that the Black Stars of Ghana that Sadio Mane is tipping to win the next AFCON have not even qualified for the AFCON tournament yet, and that even cast doubt about Ghana's chances of winning the AFCON. And in our last two participations at the AFCON, Ghana has exited at the round of 16 stage and at the group stages. So we've not even gotten closer to winning the AFCON, and I think that it leaves more room for improvement, and also like it raises more eyebrows. I don't think that Sadio Mane has watched the Black Stars lately, because we've not been doing very well the whole year 2023. We've played 3 matches, won 1 match. Even that one was a lone goal. The second we drew, the third one also we drew. So the Black Stars haven't been doing very well. So for Sadio Mane to say that the Black Stars can win the next AFCON title, Charlie, it's been long. It's been over 40 years since we saw the Black Stars lift the glorious African Cup of Nations title. But to say that Ghana is among the best teams to win the AFCON title next year, I think that Sadio Mane has to come again. If he says Morocco, Ivory Coast, Cameroon, Algeria, and Egypt, that is fine. These teams have been doing very well on the global stages, and they've qualified for the tournament. That one there, it's agreed. But to mention Ghana, Charlie, we have a lot to do before we can say that we want to win the AFCON title. So that is what Sadio Mane says. Sadio Mane led Senegal to win the 2021 AFCON after they defeated Egypt in that particular final in Cameroon last year to win the AFCON title. Well, these days he's been playing for Bayern Munich, and well, things haven't been going on very well for Sadio Mane, and we wish him the best in the coming days. Well, let's go ahead and do some more and talk about former Black Stars captain, that is Stephen Appiah. He has said that he made a very audacious effort to sacrifice for the Black Stars during his time. According to Stephen Appiah, popularly known as Tornado, he said that during his time there were times that people didn't even want to play for the Black Stars, but he had to make sacrifices when he was even injured to come and play for the national team. According to him, these days the youth do not even put in much effort to play for the national team, and that is very worrying, because during their time they did a lot, made so many sacrifices to make sure that the Black Stars were successful, although they were not able to win any title at all. He says that qualifying for the World Cup was such a big moment in their career. So this was what Stephen Appiah said in his interview with Joy Sports. Stephen Appiah said, "Today I am sitting here as a proud former player of the Black Stars because I sacrificed to make others happy. I didn't want to say these kinds of things. Trust me. But you see, sometimes you are having conversations and things come up. Honestly, I didn't want to even talk about it, but I have never spoken about it before and never. I did it out of my heart, and at the end of the day, today I'm sitting here as a proud former player that played in the World Cup. Sometimes you have to do certain sacrifices to make people happy, to give their all. You have to make people happy, and that is what I did, and that is what the former Juventus player Steven Appiah said in his interview with Joy Sports. According to him, he had to make sure he put in certain sacrifices to make sure others are happy, whilst the players in the Black Stars were not happy. So this is what Steven Appiah said concerning what the former Black Stars players did to ensure that the team was always winning and winning the hearts of Ghanaians. Although there were torrid times, they didn't allow Ghanaians to hear all about it. But these days, what do we see? Black Stars players can wake up and demand bonuses and say that they don't want to play for the national team just because they've not been called up and all that. But I think that our players have to step up and learn from their seniors. Well, let's go ahead and do the final story. And former Fulham player, that is John Painter, has advised Thomas Partey to think wisely before deciding to move away from Arsenal. According to John Painter, he made certain decisions that didn't go on very well for him during his playing career and doesn't want Thomas Partey to endure what he went through. Thomas Partey has been linked with a move away from Arsenal, as his club are looking forward to offload him and bring in the likes of Declan Rice of West Ham United. Well, the decision on where Thomas Partey will move is very, very tough, because as at now, Juventus are interested in getting the Ghanaian star midfielder, whilst a Saudi club have also showed interest in getting Thomas Partey for a very, very mega deal, and that is very enticing. So, according to John Painter, Thomas Partey has to decide wisely before deciding where he will move. Speaking in an interview with Graphic Sports, this was what John Painter had to say about Thomas Partey's decision to leave Arsenal. He said, "Football is business. It's not just playing for fun as a player. You should know whether where you are going to play would guarantee you enough playing time, especially as a national team asset. You always need to be ready for the national collapse as well. So if going to Juventus will help him get enough playing time to be ready, and going to Saudi to get enough playing time to play in the national team, the decision lies on the player." And that is what John Painter said in his interview with Graphic Sports. So he is just saying that Thomas Partey must make the wise decision if he's going for the money or if he's going for more playing time, to ensure that his place in the national team is secure. Not that you go to Saudi Arabia and he will dip in form and later on he will not get called up to the Black Stars, or he will go to Juventus and accept competition from other players who are also at their prime at Juventus and get enough playing time and also secure his place in the national team. All depends on Thomas Partey and where he will move. John Painter played for Leicester City and Fulham in his 8 days in the English Premier League. Well, that's how we wrap up here on Sports Update Ghana. Let me know your thoughts on the updates that I brought to you here on Sports Update Ghana. The name still remains Joseph Adamafio, and it was a pleasure coming your way with the Sports Updates. Please do subscribe, like, share, and don't forget to leave a comment. See you in the next one.